My name is Janice Brown, and I am a retired social worker. I've worked in social work in every capacity for many, many years. One day I was watching the news, and I was very upset to the point where I can't even watch the news hardly anymore. With the George Floyd and how there were peaceful protests that turned into violence towards the police, being targeted for the actions of a few police officers. And in every job you go, there's going to be bad apples, And in the police department, we saw there was a few bad apples. But how do you change the actions of a few and end up taking all the police throughout America? How do you change that? We have a crisis now in our cities with the police. We need the police. We desperately need the police. And not only do we need police, we need education for the police. We need more police, and we need the community and police to come together. We do not need to take any money from the police department. We need to train the police so the police officers can get the proper training so they know what to do when they come up on a crisis. And we came up with a group, and we call ourselves Support American Caring Police Foundation. And when I thought of who could help me, I thought of my very good friend, Dr. Janet Malice. Can you tell me what you think about this, Dr. Malice?
Sure. I've known Janice Brown. We've worked together. She's an excellent social worker and speaker and very good with all her community involvement. I've been very involved in the community as well. And we saw a need. We saw a need to bring the police and the community together. With the recent events, we've seen that the population is finally understanding what's going on and that there's a lot of help that's needed. Even the Caucasian people who want to be supportive are even getting upset and feeling PTSD themselves over what they see. And we don't want to see this level of distrust. We want to help and aid and be a resource to the police, the community, bring people together, and in particular, maybe help with de-escalation, because when the police see people in the community, they may not know if they're schizophrenic, if they're autistic, if they're bipolar, or it might be substance abuse. There might even be a need to have a social worker available who can help tell them, wait a minute, let me talk to them first. Maybe I can de-escalate this. So we're looking to bring people together. We want to support the police departments and the communities, maybe be a resource and get funding and get things that they need to help the community. Our mission is to be of service and to help change what is out there and bring everyone together. I'll turn back to Janice.
Well, one of the things, and Dr. Moss, I thank you for your words, but one of the things that's really troubling is, and I'm just going to bring it to where it needs to be. Why do Black people not trust the police? And it's reasons. Almost every Black person I spoke to has had different horrible situations with the police. Myself, when I was a young woman, a police car pulled me over, and I was in the park, and they told me to turn off my lights and get out the car. I said I could not turn off my lights, and that might have been a very bad output. My nephew was pulled over by the police. He's a doctor. The officer had his hand on his gun and told him to shut up, and he couldn't speak, and he hadn't did anything. My nephew was taught by his parents to just be quiet. We teach our children that when you're stopped by the police, that you not say anything, because half the time the police will tell you to shut up anyway. We want to change this dialogue, that the police are tough guys, because a lot of police do help us. In a situation, that's the first person you call is the police. So we want to make sure the police and the community is one. And how do you do that? Well, I propose the one way we could do that is to make it community-based. What do I mean by community-based? Community-based means that you have community that's able to come in there and meet with the police officers, discuss any problems they have in the community, and they're a part of the community. That the police walk on a beat with the residents in the neighborhoods where they're having high danger so that they can come face to face with the thugs and know that the police and the community is one. And how do you do that? You do that by education and safety classes. That's another thing. The police don't have enough education. That the whole way the police is evolved is a show of force. We don't want to show of force. We want to show of help. And you could do food drives, holiday functions, where you can go there if you have a problem, and we have a social worker on hand that can help. I'm a social worker. We can do resources. We can help with situations and problems and let you know if you have a psych problem. You come on, you see somebody who is raving and ranting, which Dr. Malice that's her specialty, schizophrenia. She's psychologist. So, Dr. Malice, we took a behavior class and it taught us how to move backwards when we see a problem. You don't run into a situation, it's a problem. Do you want to elaborate on that, Dr. Malice?
We were successfully able to teach people how to de-escalate violence and how to de-escalate aggression and agitation, all of that. And some of it involves your approach, whether you face them head on, approach them from the side, hear them out, and I know the police have different goals sometimes.
So Dr. Malice, one of the things I was thinking is that when we could teach the police, like we've taught classes before,
right,
and offer, the teacher helps another person to teach, and that way they can learn, get the education they need to deal with crisis situations. The police is always dealing with crises, and most of them are psychosocial issues. So that's one way we can make a difference with our group